Hey guys, so I wanted to give you guys an update on how my flowers are doing and some new things that I've done in my garden today, just as a little update and just to see how things are going. Hey guys, so we're doing a update on my garden like I was saying. Right now we're getting kitty cuddles. This is my little precious boy Zorro. Down there is Lilith, my little Omni girl. Aren't you an Omni girl? So just to start, since they're right next to the kale right here, this kale is doing good. It's still small because it gets the least amount of sun, but that does mean it has the least amount of temperature throughout the day, so that's really good for that. This broccoli is the only broccoli I have so far that is not being attacked by moths. And the way you can tell is by checking the back sides of the leaves like I'm doing now. And you're looking for little green caterpillars. And those little guys will completely wipe any of these guys out within days. My Johnny Jump Ups are doing pretty well. There is one more kill hiding back there behind the broccoli. This Johnny Jump Up is my only bicolored plant, as I would call it, because it has two different flowers on the same plant, and one's a bicolored and one is kind of bicolored. It's got a black center, so it's got a cute little face. I think I've seen these guys also called lion faces, but that might have just been a book for kids. I don't know, but they're cute either way. This guy, I don't know why, the color of this orange just makes me happy. My poppy's doing okay. We have some weather damage, as you can hear. That's just a leaf that I was barely touching. My bachelor buttons are getting bigger. They're suffering a little bit from sun, wind, and cat damage, as they like to lay on them. I had 10. Started with about 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 now. My other two poppies, those little meanies, sat on them, and they did not survive. My dill is doing amazing, so once it gets to the point where it is really big and... You okay? You guys okay? Sorry, somebody fell. Once it gets really big and it gets to the point of flowering, I think I might kidnap some of the branches or just the whole thing. But this is so lovely. I took a piece and ate it, and it was amazing. It had a very nice dill flavor. My poor little pineapple sage here, between the sun and the wind and everything, it's doing okay. It's not the best. This darn flag, man. Oops. Oh yeah, and when you're doing borders, as you just probably heard, I tripped over that stupid thing for the umpteenth time. I'm so annoyed with that. This guy, I kept saying was a watermelon, only because it looks exactly like one of my watermelons inside, to my knowledge, but this also could be an artichoke. My cats got into a fight with other cats, and they scattered some seeds, so I lost them, and now I don't know where what is, so we're just kind of finding it. So once this gets bigger, if it turns into an artichoke, I'll leave it. If it's a watermelon, I might just have to leave it, but I'm going to have to figure out something because they take about 3 feet for the watermelon. For the artichoke, it's a tight spacing, but I think it's doable. This one for sure is a melon. I don't know if it's a Kajari or not, but it should be a melon for sure. I come to the realization that this should be my balsam, which I wanted over here anyways. But I was hoping to transplant it, not to direct seed it. But I mean, it works out if that's exactly what it is. And I just spotted another sprout. So whatever weeds are going to pop up, they're going to have to just get big enough for me to identify them. Because I'm not plucking anything out. Like this guy down here. I don't know if you can see that very well. This guy, it could be a weed. It could not be. Not a clue. My stock flower right here is doing the best out of all my stock flowers, so I'm thinking because with my particular weather, yes, I'm a zone 9B specifically, but I think just because I'm Arizona weather and it's just hotter than Satan's butt, you know, they don't like the direct sun for long periods of time. This poor little guy, I might just remove this guy. I don't see much hope. See if I can get rid of a leaf so I can see the base down here. Oh, well, maybe. I'm trying to get him to propagate because he got knocked off of here from the wind, and I tried doing it that way and it didn't work out. So, but this is my Rio Pink. These guys, I've discovered these guys right here. I don't know if you can see that very well. If it stops moving on me. This little green thing in my hand. Those should be an herb or they're an onion. I'm not entirely 100 on that. My Icelandic poppy is doing so-so. That's original soil right there. So I don't know. Seems to be dying back quite a bit. Those guys aren't doing so well. My rosemary bush we had to move to amend the soil, and I think either I overwatered it or it didn't tolerate the move. Some parts are okay, some parts aren't, so I think what I'm going to do is take off the parts that aren't okay anymore, like this guy who just kind of like yeeted himself, and save the rosemary from that. Well, this came as an electric sky. It's called different things: night sky, midnight sky, sky. These guys are hybrid petunias. They come this way intentionally, but as you can see, they get really dark, and some of the dark ones are sold under a different name. Some of the really light ones are sold under a different name. Some of them are pink, burgundy. It just kind of depends. This guy's supposed to be a perennial of sorts. I found out that it does not anchor itself very well, which is probably why people put them in hanging plants, because they do like to sprawl out. I had to tuck it underneath my pipe right there, which is eventually going to be buried, so I'm going to have to figure something else out to keep it in place. But it's doing pretty well compared to all the other flowers, other than the Rios, who are the only other ones that seem to be doing fine. This lonely little lettuce here is one of the only survivors that got put over here from the grow bag. My little bush bean, because it gets so much sunshine, it's not doing so well at all. I'm leaving it there because I planted some more beans here and here, and I planted some peas back there because that little green speck right there is the only pea that popped up from my secondary planting of peas. What, Lilith? You're in the way. Move. Don't shake your foot at me. Move. That little lettuce right there is it's also one of the surviving ones, but I have no hope for it. My straight neck back there and my two zucchinis here, they're doing okay. The zucchinis look like they're gonna push up some little zucchini pods or flowers or whatever you want to call them. I'm not 100 on that. I might go back to Home Depot and see if I can't pick up a few more, just because the outcome of them wasn't ideal. This lettuce is going to bolt on me. I haven't really harvested anything from it, and if I pick a leaf, yeah, very, very bitter. So I'm just gonna let that do its thing and become a flower. Oh my gosh. Don't recommend at all doing that. This right here, this lettuce is doing wonderfully and is really amazing. I had it in a sandwich earlier today. My little beets are doing wonderful. My cabbage over there, I inspected them earlier today for green little bugs. Oh, sorry. I'm still trying to get over that very bitter taste. They're doing okay minus the bug damage. They're doing fine. My romaine back there is doing alright minus some sun damage. This big boy right here is my Copenhagen cabbage, I do believe. And he's finally making ahead slowly but surely. That wasn't like that. Alright. There's an intruder amongst us. I shall find you. So if you can't see, just run your hand along. Sometimes these bright little green guys will come off, and you can shake the plant a little. They have like 0 holding power when you do it like that. Okay, so the little intruder must have gone elsewhere, or I got him already. But yeah, so this is the damage that they can do over time. They start off as these little window holes. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I can find a better one. Ah, here, the broccoli. These little white spotchy pieces. They start off as what I call window holes, and then from there they turn into regular holes because those little critters will just keep eating through the same spot. So yeah. All the broccoli and kale over here are doing fine. They're a lot bigger because they get a lot more sun, but they are suffering damage from the caterpillars. The kale in the back areas and under the broccoli are doing so-so because one of the yellow fuzzballs that run around in my yard sat on it earlier. So they're probably sitting on it more often than not. The purple bell pepper back here may or may not be producing bell peppers. I'm not sure, but that's its current state right now. I have been withholding watering it as often. I just give it a light watering when the broccoli and cabbage and lettuce start to seem like they have too much heat or need some water. So, I mean, I can't really do a lot with that. My onions over here are coming along nicely. They are less than a quarter size around at the base for the stalks. Well, some of them might be about a quarter now. So I'm going to see how those ones do. I do have another onion for sure in the house I kind of want to put out here and just kind of see how that fares as far as with the heat. I'm not sure where I'd put it. My black seeded Simpson I have harvested some lettuce from. Some of the kale I have harvested leaves from. I just grabbed the big leaves. The lettuce down here, which is Butter Crunch, I did clean up a bunch yesterday or like last night and grabbed a bunch of leaves which are in my fridge right now. This whole section I redid. It was my potato section. I have a video out about that. It's a very short video. But I planted the 3 red potatoes that were left that still could have been grown. And I planted all my yellow potatoes that had sprouted in a bag that we had gotten from the store and weren't edible anymore. This little jug right here has one little green guy in them. And by green guy I mean plant. But it hasn't popped up yet, so I don't know what it is. I can just see where it's trying to pop up, so I'm going to let it go. I moved it over here because I needed to plant beans over there. My Jaloka is doing okay. It's green, it's not doing anything. I had a very small amount of raised bed mix left in a bag, which I could have used for pots and stuff like I was going to, you know, that's what I use for my seed starting and stuff like that, but I thought maybe giving it a little bit of an amendment on just the top in a mulch style would do the peppers some good, give them a little extra nutrition, help break up some of the harsh dirt over time, because these guys are basically in native soil. That's basically what they're in, straight up native soil. So I'm trying to do this as an experiment. How long does it take to take this kind of dirt and turn it into like that kind of dirt over there? My onions that I planted back in December are doing really well. Some of them are really close because they were the same bulb that was going bad in my house. They are starting to die back, so I'm gonna wait until a good majority of the leaves start dying back more than they have before I decide to harvest them. I might just take this stick out, I'm not sure. My bell peppers haven't produced any flowers yet, but it is still you're curly. It is still early, so it may just be too early for them right now, but they have done a lot of regrowth, which is good. That poor little guy over there, he had a giant leaf on him. I mean, it was like bigger than this guy right here. And the wind just boop, right off of him. It was so sad for him. So over here in my berry row sanctuary, because the sun was just too much for them to stay over there, and they were kind of in the way. The red raspberries, I already contacted Baker Creek on these. They're resending them as soon as the new shipment comes in, as I fuss with the dead leaves. We have no hope for them, although this guy seems to be trying. So I'm gonna let them go until they won't. This guy for sure didn't make it. He's a maybe. So they're doing so-so for the red raspberries. So they're resending them out to me. Whatever makes it out of these 3 original ones is whatever makes it out of these 3 original ones. My blueberries, or my pink blueberries I should say, they look to be doing alright. I do see where they're very green throughout. It looks like they are pushing off little leaf buds. That's wonderful. My mulberries, which I do believe are these guys, I can never remember. This guy was white yesterday. This is one I'm pushing on right here. It was white. It looked new. It didn't look like it was dead or anything. It just looked like it hadn't gotten light yet. So that's a good sign. It's pushing off a little, what looks like leaf bud right here. Get out of my compost, Marshmallow. You're a turd. At least he turns it for me. This guy here, I don't know if you can see that. That little guy that's pale, that's what I was talking about. It's kind of doing the same thing. This one kept more of its leaves than the other guy did. And I do have this irritatingly annoyance bug gnatty problem, which I'm going to have to put I think it's mosquito bits. Yeah, it's mosquito bits. I'm going to have to put them in these pots so they can stop trying to eat them alive. My boysenberries look to be doing wonderful. They are thorn varieties, so as they get bigger, you're going to get poked by them. But while they're small, they just feel like little stickers. They're not very harsh or anything. They seem to be doing wonderfully, so just giving them a little look. See, I see some new growth hiding in the bottom down there. My heirloom tomatoes that I have here, they're very different varieties, and each one of these is probably a different type. I don't remember which is what. One of them is supposed to be Dr. Witchy's, one of them is supposed to be a pink beefsteak hybrid from Burmese, if that ever grew. Doubtful, but it's probably something else sitting over there. Some of these are supposed to be yellow pear, cherry tomatoes, bumblebee cherry tomatoes. They're supposed to be all sorts of different things. I won't know which is what until they grow, because, you know, bad labeling, of course. My lettuce over here is doing alright, all things considered. I didn't, clean them up or anything like that. I just kind of, let them be. So we'll see what they do. The broccoli over here seems to be doing okay. It looks like just wind damage at the moment. Maybe some sun damage. Nobody fell out. Nobody fell out of there. So yeah, it looks just like wind and sun damage for these guys. So something about being next to the house makes them more susceptible to bugs. I don't understand that. Maybe it's just warmer over there. Okay, these guys. Dude, what's up with the dirt? on the leaves, man. So these are my jalapeno peppers that I got from Bonnie's from Home Depot. They are organic plants. I think the container said certified organic when I looked at the label. I could be wrong. These guys are tomatoes that a customer had given me because her mom gave her 14 plants and she didn't know what to do with any of them at all. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a couple. And a couple turned into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them because one had like a bunch in one pot and she didn't understand the difference, which is fine. You know, more plants for me. A couple of them don't look like they're going to survive. They were the smaller out of the bunch, so it's fine. I am concerned that they may or may not have some sort of fungal issue. They have these little white spots that keep showing up. And I've clipped a bunch of the leaves that had them on there and they just keep showing up, so I might not keep them. I'm not sure. This poor rose here is suffering from sun damage. I can't really do a whole lot about that at the moment because I'm waiting on my burlap to come in because I'm just going to, from the roof up here to the fence behind me, I'm just going to create a little shade area. It's more so for me to walk underneath and be able to be not in direct sunlight, but it's supposed to double as shade for them as well. So hopefully everything's fine and it'll come back around stronger and pretty. It does show that it's trying to force buds, so hopefully, you know, I'll get some blooms out of it if nothing else. It is from summer winds, so, you know, it is what it is at this point. Where's one of my stock flowers? It's doing okay. It's not doing the greatest. One of my snapdragons, again, sun problems. My ranunculuses, I think their issue was water and sun issues. Some of them are still kind of green at the bottom, so I'm hoping that some of them bounce back a little bit, but I think they're too far gone. Anything that's over there by the tomatoes gets more shade than it does sun throughout the day, so they seem to be doing better than some of these who don't. Except for this guy. This guy seems to be okay. And this guy went to seed, so at least I think that's what happened. It looks like what happened. Instead of the other one next to it, but any of the ranunculuses here, weeds. Ugh, you're not allowed to be there. The whole thing, thank you. And you, grass. Ugh. Yeah, so the whole thing here that is ranunculus are just not happy. But my Rios here, my Rios here, the Rio Sombras roses, they're supposed to be a multicolored yellow and pinky color, but it looks like the pink color didn't come through with this one, so it's just a cream colored rose, which is perfectly fine. It did start off as this lovely yellow right here, so I am perfectly happy with it regardless of what it looks like. But I am seeing signs of very much so sun damage, so I'm very concerned for them. That Rio seems to be okay. It's a little lighter on the tippy tops, but I think those might be just new growth. My Double Delight right here, or no, my Burst of Joy, right? Yeah, Burst of Joy. My Burst of Joy, my poor little flower, it's gotten sun damage on it. But it was the first to open. From what I can see, it has this lovely kind of soft pink color, and the parts that are dry did dry into a lovely reddish tone. So that's pretty. I do have another one blooming right there. It doesn't seem to be as affected by the sun right at this moment, so hopefully things will get better as soon as I can set up some shade. The Zeons, the original flowers that I had on this when we got it, have died back, but more and more are popping up, so that's nice, and they're both that same way. well, thank you guys for joining me on the tour, and I just wanted to share that with you. So hopefully you guys saw something that helped you or that you liked. So if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, it'd be very appreciated. See you on the next one. Bye.